But they have not always done that. They have not always been forthcoming about his health. So I thought that was a little amazing.
When will win? When would they not forthcoming?
Wait.
That's really important.
He supposedly got shot in the ear.
Doctor.
We never heard from his doctors on that. When did we hear from his doctors? When did we hear from his doctors?
Hold on,
What's up, y'all? Abby Phillips on her CNN show has her panel discuss the lies and the lack of transparency coming from the Trump White House. And keep in mind that this debate took place before Trump disappeared from Wednesday to yesterday, Tuesday. He was so away from the public eye that people thought he died. But unfortunately, he's still alive. But CNN in-house propagandist Scott Jennings and guest propagandist Ben Ferguson completely clutch their pearls and act ridiculous because Toure has the audacity to question the official narrative. Let's watch these clips and watch it all play out.
I mean, I think his uncle died like 10 years before the Unabomber was even a thing. So this whole thing is a little bit bizarre. And if this were Joe Biden, I think you would be screaming from the rooftops right now.
Well, Joe Biden said his uncle was eaten by cannibals. So I guess we'll have to compare uncle stories.
There's that too. Absolutely. Talk to me about it. I mean, why is that more concerning than what has happened this week? He didn't even remember appointing his own Fed chair.
Here's my view of the medical situation of this president versus the last one. This president has a doctor who is issuing very transparent letters about this president's health. Okay. The former president has a doctor who's taking the Fifth Amendment before Congress right now because he doesn't want to answer questions about it. I've been around him. I have detected nothing. I've seen nothing but a man conducting 6 meetings at the same time.
You sound like Joe Biden's aides who said, I've been around him.
Yeah. And I'm not taking the Fifth Amendment in front of Congress.
I'm just saying that by your own metric, if this were Joe Biden, and perhaps it was when he said his uncle
he's working 20 hours a day.
By cannibals.
Hours of press conferences every day. Abby, are you saying Donald Trump is not visible as president and it's anywhere comparable to Biden's hiding for 4 years?
I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just asking why he didn't remember that he appointed the Fed chair in 2017 and stood in the Rose Garden with him and appointed him. Why didn't he remember that?
I think this might be the most fun nothing burger I've seen in a while.
Oh, yeah.
You have transparency from the White House saying that there's an issue, and here it is. Thank goodness we've got that back, number one. Number two, no one's having to lie on his behalf and cover it up. They're not having to plan meetings around certain times when he's cognitive and then give him a nap time in the middle of the day and saying he works 4 hours a day. Donald Trump literally works 10, 12, 15, 18, 20 hours a day. Constantly flying all over the place. There are days
20 hours a day.
Yes, there have
20 hours a day.
That many hours.
There's Kool-Aid on the side of your are you serious?
Subtly calling him a cult member is the perfect way to combat these fools. You can't address them from logic. You have to be ready to shoot at them at any moment. Obviously with words, come on. Especially because they never take anything seriously and it's always, but what about Biden? Biden isn't the president and he was terrible. The thing that they can't say is that both presidents are way too old to have any type of power in the world because their actions are never going to affect them. Everything they're doing right now is never going to affect their lives. They're going to be long and gone before all their actions have ramifications on all our lives, which is really messed up.
He tweets all night long. Do you not see it?
Look,
all of those things are...
Because tweeting is so much hard work, and we know that he doesn't actually tweet with his own hands. He just dictates it to somebody else, and they actually tweet.
Kind of irrelevant to the central question.
What has been clear throughout the time that we have seen him on the public stages, this is not the most intelligent person we have. This is not the best analyst of information.
You may not like
he does not have a lot of information at his fingertips as far as things that he knows. So if there is a cognitive problem,
you ever met him?
I actually have met him. I met him at the White House court.
Did you converse with him about anything?
Yes, I met him at the White House
court. Like Joe Biden or not nowhere to go?
Okay.
That's the truth. That's who the president was, and they're all taking the fifth because they all covered it up.
You're going to be surprised.
That's a much bigger story.
You're going to be surprised what I'm going to say here. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that I don't think it's anything new that Donald Trump has occasionally made some gaffes when he has said things. I do think it's concerning that he does not remember appointing Jerome Powell to the Fed. But I think when he gets up there sometimes on the stage and starts meandering and telling these stories that don't necessarily meet up at the end, like he's been doing that for a long time. So I don't know that this is anything that's different. What I do think is slightly unusual is that they actually put out a statement addressing the swelling that he has in his legs.
Transparency.
But they have not always done that. They have not always been forthcoming about his health. So I thought that was a
Win.
Hold on.
Win. Win. That's
Wait,
really important.
He supposedly got shot in the
unbiased
ear.
doctor.
We never heard from his doctors on that.
Did you say supposedly?
When did we hear from his doctors?
Guys,
When did we hear from his doctors?
hold on. If y'all stop screaming at
Abby.
the table, maybe I can actually respond.
Supposedly.
Hold on.
Supposedly.
Okay.
That's where we are now.
Where's his doctor?
Hold on a second. Toure, he was shot in the ear.
Thank you for bringing that up.
All right.
But did we hear from the doctors? We would always hear from his doctors.
Did we hear
when
from
we
his
get shot.
doctors? Did we hear from his doctors?
Is this really
Scott,
your argument?
I mean,
is this
Scott,
the best
did we hear
argument
from
you
his
have?
doctors?
I mean, all I know is I went to the Republican
That would be
National
no.
Convention and he had
That would be no.
a bandage
Okay,
on his
So you're,
ear.
all right.
You're really
I
going to
don't-
sit here
He
and
had
say
blood
that
on
Donald
his
Trump was
face?
not
Let
shot.
me-
Where did it come
let me
from?
just- hold on a second,
Why?
guys.
Thank you for being
Why?
intellectual.
Why are we?
Gentlemen,
Thank you.
Toure, gentlemen, just 1 second. I think this is like a total off the. This is not really what we're talking about.
Anytime he starts off with, all I know, we know for a fact that he's lying. He's just making it up. He's just trying to figure out how hard to push the propaganda. There's no actual other logic besides that. Scott's addition to the show makes it so childish and corny. Just the way he starts calling for Abby, like, oh my God, can you believe you said that? Oh my God, Miss Phillip, can you tell him not to say that? Come on, he's always acting like a baby. Sometimes it's funny, but it's definitely getting a little bit old. Just because it's the same shtick over and over and over again. Because now he's clutching his pearls because they spoke out against Trump. Because they said they didn't believe the official narrative that Trump put out. Come on. Scott and Ben Ferguson are both clowns. Because if everybody at that table were serious, the conversation would be around, why do we have such old people representing our country? They do not represent the majority of people. They only represent their donors that they've been cultivating their whole lives. That's Democrat and Republican. Because like George Carlin said, it's one big club and you ain't in it. They work together to make our lives miserable, knowing that they're about to die any second now. That's not really fair. But if they were younger in their 50s and their 40s, where they still have to live in the United States or on this world for the next 30, 40, 50 years, their decisions may be different. But what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to watch the full breakdown on how Alex Jones's InfoWars is falling apart in the seams and he's freaking out, click this video. And if you're still watching, you might as well subscribe to the channel. Peace.